family. I just don't give a fuck.
What up? Rocking with the best known unknown podcast on the internet. It's Late2Work as always. Rocking live with now episode 25, our quarter centennial. Is that what you call it?
Sure.
That sounds fancy. That sounds American. quarter centennial episode. As always, it's your boy Money Mitch, aka King Lear, aka the light skinned Lord of the Flies, aka the mixed skin Messiah, aka Daddy Longstroke, the motherfucking clitoris wrangler, aka the dreadhead nigga in your lobby. You can find me at Mitch Gaines with a Y, because I'm a little bit gay. Find me everywhere you want to find me on the internet, wherever you like to be. Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is. Here rocking with my right-hand man, the funniest man in Rhode Island, even though we in Boston today.
Special edition. It's only Chris Allen, Midwest half, Midwest best, the young OG, rocking in the special edition, 25 edition episode in Boston.
Indeed. So the reason we in Boston, our quad centennial, whatever the fuck you call this episode, as promised, we're trying to do more guests this season, this year. Season? We don't have seasons. We're not.
Yeah, this is season 2.
All right, season 2, yeah. Season 2 of the Trump tour. And so we're here with our first guest of the season, Rachel DeSimone. If I had like a clap applause line, I would play us here.
That sounds like, you ever hear like some people's names and just that sounds like a famous person's name.
Yeah, Rachel DeSimone sounds like you're supposed to be somebody. Why aren't you like famous yet?
Well, I'm going to be.
Oh, snap.
So this is just the start.
So you get a live exclusive behind the scenes before the fame here in the grubby gray cardigan, Rachel DeSimone. I'm just teasing.
Well, I mean, I did have my brand new TJ Maxx sweatshirt on before until I spilled dinner on it.
Swag. I'm rocking the $6 Drake imitation sweater, so I'm out here.
What is DeSimone? Are you French?
It's Italian.
Italian? Oh, okay.
Quarter Italian, a quarter Polish, a quarter Armenian, and a quarter Irish.
You can just get your Ancestry.com shit in the mail.
Oh my gosh, if I actually did that, it'd probably be all wrong.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
I'm like, I'm all these things. It's like,
I heard this the other day, somebody was asking me this, like, does anyone who's not white ever do Ancestry.com? I feel like it's just white people trying to find out how they're not white.
Yeah.
So they can like get a pass. It's like, no. But listen, I had a great grandmother who married an uncle through like this weird kind of, it was an exchange. It wasn't like slavery. Like they paid them and stuff. So I'm like 4% black. And I'm like,
I mean, I am the whitest person I know and I will ever know. But technically, I'm a quarter Middle Eastern. Technically.
Yeah.
It gets...
I just proved your point.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you're welcome. That's my gift to you for your 25th episode.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So obviously we have our first guest here. Rachel does a whole bunch of different shit. Food blogger, food culture critic, social media maven in the making, hippie yoga. It reeks of incense here while we're recording. I'm getting high off the good vibes just hanging out in this fucking place. And I'm the most pessimistic person I know. So a whole bunch of good shit. But obviously we're going to start with what happened recently because that's what we do in this podcast, and the Super Bowl was this weekend. I don't really give a shit about the sport of it for a change, honestly. Like, I hate the Patriots. Yay for the Eagles beating them. The game itself was dope, don't get me wrong. But like, I don't know, like the Super Bowl itself is typically one of my favorite events of the year. Like, Super Bowl up there with like 4th of July and other like America days.
So American.
Well, exactly. It's just like, to me, it's like first and foremost, it's a holiday you don't go out for, right? Mm-hmm. I said the same thing about 4th of July. It's like, nobody goes to like a 4th of July bar. You know what I mean? Like, you go to a cookout or you stay the fuck home. You don't, like, if you're at the bar drinking at 4 in the afternoon on 4th of July, I feel so bad for you.
I better change my... I'm just kidding.
But the Super Bowl is the same way. Like, obviously you can go for it or whatever, but I feel like the Super Bowl mostly is like, you go over to somebody's house, like, whoever's got the biggest couch, you pick, 14 people in a living room, everybody makes a dip or some wings or whatever the fuck, and, like, you sesh up. Yeah. My question is, like, I guess we'll start, who do you invite to the Super Bowl party?
Ooh.
Like, do you have a date at the Super Bowl party? Do you have your friends?
Friends
family?
Always have to be there. I don't know about family. It depends on if your team is playing. Definitely family. Always friends. I'm always in it for the halftime show unless a New York team is playing. So
see, this is the problem though. It's like, do you want to invite somebody to the Super Bowl party who's only there for the halftime show? Is there anything more annoying than the person who's only there for the commercials and the halftime show?
No, because generally we bring the best food.
Yeah, and it's usually the girls. You need girls there, and they're usually for the halftime show.
Also,
let them come.
I understand sports. Football's not my favorite sport, but I'm such a Patriots hater that, like, I was so all in, like, edge of my seat, eyes bulging wide open. And
I find it
was really
fascinating
sweet.
watching New York people like rooting for the Eagles.
It was very painful, I have to say. I had to be very drunk to do it. However, I don't hate anyone more than I hate the Patriots. So
That's fair. You're in light company, don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, I was with my friends, I was with my boyfriend, and it was fun. Like, I would not want to be one-on-one with someone. I think that would be super boring. At the same time, I wouldn't want to...
You can't, like, date watch the Super Bowl.
No.
Like, that'd be awkward.
No, he's a Patriots fan, and we sat, like, across the booth from each other, and, like, we acknowledged each other's presence, and I totally chirped him the whole time. And it's just, like, so fun to see Patriots fans mad. They don't know how to lose.
Yeah.
No,
And they just get all, like, quiet.
Which I can't blame them for. Like, when do they lose? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, last Sunday.
but yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's so rare. Like, I wouldn't know how to act either if it happened once in every,
Yeah.
11 weeks?
Yeah.
You know,
We
like-
got so into it, though. We were, like, so lame. We went to Summer Shack by King's.
Oh, so you actually went out for
We
the
went
Super Bowl.
out. We were supposed to go to my friend's hotel room, but it ended up being a
Your friend's
smaller...
got a hotel room for the
My
Super Bowl?
friend was dating this guy who, like, generally gets a nice hotel room when he comes to work in Boston, but there was some dance convention, blah, blah, blah. We didn't go to the hotel. We went to Summer Shack, and we were drinking pineapple chi-chi drinks in these parrot cups, which kind of looked like eagles. We were just, like, stroking the parrot cups, and it brought us luck. Yes. It brought luck.
Stroking the pineapple chi-chi.
Yes,
and
we
get
were.
to the hotel party. This sounds like a weird
I
time.
am a fun time, I tell you. Give me a pineapple chi-chi or two, and...
All right, I gotta back up a couple steps there. This dude was... So many questions. He gets a hotel room when he comes in the city for business. It's Super Bowl Sunday. He's obviously not coming to work for... Like, coming to the city for work. So he was just getting a hotel...
No, he was working. He had to work. He worked, like, Wednesday to Wednesday, but he was here for the Super Bowl.
All right, I got you. Okay.
Next question.
I just feel like any dude who's like, I only see this girl when I come to the city.
Definitely
and I
has
usually
a
get
wife
hotel
and a
room.
family at home.
Yeah.
No, we've been over this. He
Or
definitely
is paying
doesn't.
her.
Does.
One of the
He
two.
definitely doesn't.
Does he take her shopping a lot?
No.
Okay.
I'd like to go shopping.
She's definitely a sugar baby.
No, I mean, listen, I've heard some stories, bro. I had this girl I used to work with. She told me, like, this dude literally hit her up, was like, I'll pay you, there's no word of a lie, $500 an hour if you just let me take you shopping and you make fun of me the whole time.
Right.
And so, like, she would just go to the mall, pick out whatever she wanted, he'd buy it all, then pay her $500 an hour, and she would just insult him for an hour throughout the day.
Shit.
And then she'd leave. That was
I'll do that for half the
I was
price.
just gonna say.
I would do that to get my aggression. You know what I mean? You know how much I hate people? You just give me someone I can find something wrong with and lay into for no apparent reason.
Well, he's
A customer service agent from eShirts. You know what I mean? Like,
what is that though? Why?
what is that kink? Yeah, I have no idea. Listen, I'm open to all this shit. Like, whatever you're into, I'm into at least once, probably twice to make sure. But like that, there's no appeal to me. I don't quite get that.
No.
I don't know. Speaking of weird appeals, also, what do we think of? I don't want to wrap up the Super Bowl conversation too quickly. So you went out for the Super Bowl.
Yes.
You're out. You prefer to be out, or would you prefer to be in?
I prefer to be in.
Okay.
I think I didn't want to go anywhere where I had to stand or be pushed by anyone or like
See,
have
that's
to get
always my
all
fear going
rowdy
out
with
to
the
the bar. I don't
Patriots
wanna be
fans.
standing in a
No,
bar.
I wanted to sit. It was like a little underwhelming. There was really not that many other people in the bar, so I would have rather been at someone's house, like feet up on the couch, guacamole. But like, we just ordered a shitload of food and hung out, and it was fun.
What'd you do?
I just went to the bar. Like,
You was out too?
yeah.
So I'm the weirdo.
Well, the thing is, like, I got invited to a party, and I was just like, I don't feel like going to a party. I was like, and I was gonna stay at home. And then one of my friends were over, another comic, and I was like, all right, well, I don't have cable, so I gotta go to a party now.
Word.
If I don't feel like going
I
to a
stream the
party,
shit.
I normally do that, but like I'm just like fuck it, like I'll go out and shit and just like eat and just chill out. So that's what I did, and it was like low key. I didn't give a shit. I'm from Cleveland. I don't give a shit about who wins this game. So like I just chilled out.
So we all just had like lame as fuck Super Bowls.
Yes, definitely the lame.
I mean, pineapple chi-chi did not make my Super Bowl lame.
That's true. I was sitting like I was going to a party. Fucking my boy who was throwing the party was like, "Yo, like none of my boys are coming. It's all my girlfriend's friends." Like, I wouldn't do this if I was you. I was like,
bet no, I'm on board with that.
yeah, I was like, I bet. He's like, yo, I'm going to this kegger out in like Brighton or whatever. I was like, I'm not driving all the way out to Brighton to drink like kegs on a Sunday. Like, I'm good. And I went to fuck home and I ordered wings and I made pizza dip and I watched Super Bowl on my fucking
Pizza dip?
Oh, my pizza dip's A1, girl. I broke in my new vape. Like, I got fucking lit.
Yeah.
I had a great Super Bowl. Watched Patriots lose and won some money.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
Side
I never
note,
win
yeah.
money when I bet. I did go to Vegas last week and win on the Willy Wonka slot machine, though. It was
How much did you win?
like $200.
Are you a Vegas person? Chris is a big Vegas guy.
Yeah,
How many times have you been to Vegas?
once.
Oh, yeah.
But I did
Get the
it.
fuck out
I
of
did
here.
Vegas right. No, I saw the Backstreet Boys 2 times. I touched Nick Carter's hand.
Oh,
I won on the Willy Wonka machine. I got upgraded to a room with a private hot tub. Like,
This is the most basic white chick shit of all time. Continue. I got
like-
upgraded to a suite,
you know
like,
what?
not because, like, I
I
do
want-
anything, but, I'm kind of pretty, so they're just, like, here. And I touched Nick, oh my god, did I tell you I met Nick Carter? I, like, touched him. It was so great.
is that what I sound like?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
That's definitely how you sound.
I'm white as fuck, but I'm not basic.
No,
We were doing so well, you and I.
How long were you in Vegas?
Sorry?
How long were you in Vegas?
4 days.
Oh, all right, yeah, that's
Not
not
that long.
such a...
Yeah.
I feel like that's the right amount of time.
It's the right amount of time.
Yeah.
I was ready to go home,
You
but
told me, like, a long weekend. That's what you told me.
Yeah,
right?
like
Yeah.
three days. After 3 days, like
I like
I'm
3
usually
days
just,
in the
like,
actual recovery
ready
day,
to-
though.
Yeah.
But the recovery day is never a recovery day. It's always like, all
See,
right,
that's
wait,
what
wait,
I
wait.
feel like if I went for, like, whatever you need, like, if I was going for 3 days, I need, like, a 4th day, but a 4th day, like, Reno.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I need a 4th day, like, off the strip. Like,
Yeah.
I'm actually just going to go to, like, a spa.
You always plan like Sunday, just like have a low key day, but whoever you're with is like, all right, well, let's have a low key day. But let's start it off with shots, and then next thing you know, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. You
Drinks
murder
were-
2 hookers.
oh my god. I have to say, I'm pretty sure a hooker commented on my sparkly ice cream pumps. And I was
I mean,
very
that
happy
sounds
about that.
hookery.
Yeah. I took the compliment.
That's what you should. Hey, I'm down with the
Well,
sparkle.
there are a lot of bros traveling to Vegas for the Super Bowl. Like, is that a thing? You travel for the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I'm sure
Well,
any
it's a
season,
thing.
Okay.
because you can gamble a lot on it, and then you can
And you can game on every part. Like,
Yeah,
you don't
exactly.
understand. Like,
No, I don't.
I made collectively maybe. Well, that's it. Like, I think I ended up plus like $19.
Yeah.
I didn't make any like real money, but I made about 27 bets on the Super Bowl because you can bet MVPs, how long the national anthem's gonna be, exact scores, rushing total. Like, one of the bets I took was like the Patriots total points versus how many collective points, assists, and rebounds Russell Westbrook would have in this game the same night.
I've
like,
already stopped listening.
That's what I mean. Like, it
This
was
is the difference
ridiculous.
between our genders. Yeah.
And so it's definitely like it's that. I guess that's my bigger point. Is like, is it a going out day? Is it a staying in day with like friends? Is it a brocation day? Like, I don't know what the Super Bowl is supposed to be, and it feels like every year my Super Bowl is like I was Super Bowl alone this year. I went out went to a house party last year. I hosted the year before that.
Yeah.
Like, it's been different every year to me. I don't know what it's supposed to be.
I don't think it's supposed to be anything. I think plans never stay the same.
That's
Honestly, if I had to pick one thing, I'd say going to someone's house party kind of deal. But like,
Yeah.
if you go out to the bar, there's no shame. Like, you just make of it what like you want.
I think secretly I just really enjoy hosting the Super Bowl and can't wait till
I hate
host.
I hate hosting stuff. I don't don't because people bring over shit and people stay too long. I hate when people stay too long, and I'm just like, dude, like, it's over. The game's over. Like, go home.
Give me about 90 seconds on this then. This is why the Super Bowl is the perfect event to host. It's a limited amount of people because it's limited to the amount of seating that your apartment can hold. So we're talking even if you have a baller ass place, like max 20 people.
Yeah.
Right? Because like you can have enough seats for most everybody and like 2 to 3 people standing at any given point. You never want more than that. You're kind of a douchebag at that point. It's a given end time. When the game ends, anyone who's there more than an hour past the end of the game,
Yeah,
you're an
an
asshole.
hour is too much.
Well,
No,
yeah.
I agree. But I'm saying, like, okay, cool, the game ends, like, we watch a little post game, the MVP or whatever, finish your beers and go home.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, like, you want to wrap up your shit to take with you? You want to take an extra 10 minutes to actually clean your shit up? I'm not going to get in your way.
Yeah, leave your beer and get out. That's where I'm at. This is immediately once
Listen,
the game's
I know
over.
you brought a 12 pack. I know that's number 10. You're leaving me the last 2, nigga.
Exactly.
Fuck out of my apartment.
And then you gotta clean up after all these people and shit.
It's
like,
paper plates, fucking tablecloths. It's really easy.
yeah, no.
You put tablecloths out for the Super Bowl? You're fancy.
No, well, like, disposable ones. I'm not trying to, like, ruin my tables.
That's still fancy.
Yeah,
Put a tablecloth out for you.
Listen, you don't. A Mitch getting an event is a good. Like, anytime I'm throwing something, niggas really think it's gonna be like y'all gotta come through. I throw a good party. People just don't believe.
I've heard about the parties. I've heard about the breakfast, and I'm just waiting for the delivery.
So I guess we should mention this is how I know Rachel is through a mutual friend, my good roommate, who. I've been hearing about this for, I guess, about 6 months now, how I one time promised to cook them breakfast and never delivered. I'd like to clarify on air, on the record. I woke up, cooked my girlfriend and me breakfast, then waited an hour to wake them up to cook them breakfast, woke up my roommate, cooked both of them breakfast, left them plates covered on the stove, woke them up again on my way out. And my nigga never, like, relayed the message or really got, woke up or anything. Yeah, so that is not on me at all. The breakfast was there, and I'm done hearing about that shit. I was a great roommate.
The breakfast was not in my mouth at any time.
That's because I didn't make sausage.
Well, I don't eat meat, so...
This is also true. But you do enjoy good chocolate, from what I'm told.
Yes.
Oh, hey.
You know? It's a very problematic podcast. Do you have anything else we want to say about the Super Bowl before we move on to other things?
No.
Did we see Kevin Hart?
Can we just... Yeah, I mean, he made a statement about it. It was funny. That he was... did you hear his statement?
No.
He was just like, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, I got too drunk. I just wanted to be in the stage with my city. Don't drink. He owned it. He owned it. But here's the thing. I get, like, people were making too much out of the Super Bowl. Like, Patriots fans are all sad and shit. Like, their dog just died. Yeah. It was like, if you died, Brady wouldn't give a shit. Like, no one on the Patriots, like, you get home, let's say you were mad and you're driving home because the Patriots lost, you get clipped by, like, a sewage truck. Like, no one on the Patriots is going to give two shits. No. Like, you don't get a card, like, Brady's not going to, like, drop a tear, it's over.
You probably won't even visit the hospital.
And then the Eagles fans, they win and they tear up this city. Like, you don't deserve, like, is there any way to display to the world that you don't deserve a championship? Like, you destroy your own city?
My question is, like, when are we going to stop being surprised? But, like, it doesn't really matter the city. This seems to happen everywhere. The only reason people are like, oh, Boston never does is because we win every fucking year. Okay. We did that the first time. Go back and look at us win the World Series in 04. That shit was a massacre. Okay, I was out in the streets that night. Is
this just like humanity just looking for an excuse to just go fucking nuts? Like they just so like
sports are tribal. Sports are tribal and violent, and they're all the things we're taught to avoid in our regular day life. So when your team wins a championship, that's like your purge 6 hours. There are no rules. Yeah. Like, you go out, you flip cars, you fucking throw Molotov cocktails through windows, you do fucking chin-ups on fucking crossing guards. Whatever you gotta do, you jump through awnings. People just wild up. I don't understand that shit, but I also was once 19. I understood it then.
You just like to break stuff, but
it's just fun to do, and somebody's telling you it's okay to do in this setting. And before, so it used to be.
Yeah.
Because people didn't take it so, and it's like, it's the one-upsmanship of the internet. You know what I mean? Like, before it was like, okay, like, we yanked down a street sign. Then it was like, oh, like, we threw a beer bottle through, like, a stoplight. Or, like, you know, we graffitied some stop signs. No harm, no foul. Like, that's a fun riot. You know what I mean? Like, we saw some fireworks off. Like, some people got too drunk. We, like, played some music and danced in the streets. That's fun. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Flipping cars.
Yeah, just like, come on.
But I feel like that was the next step, though. So we went from, like, fun riot, and then, like, flipping cars was like, I'm going to test the waters. Yeah. We're not going to burn anything yet. We're not going to light anything on fire. We're not going to even steal anything or loot anything. But we're going to flip this car and see what happens. And then that started getting, like, normal.
When you have to Crisco the street lamps, that's when you know.
And that's what I mean. And it's very much like the court storming in college basketball is, like, it's become cliche. Yeah. Like, if you write, it's like, Philly had every reason to, honestly. You never won a Super Bowl before, it's been 6 years, yada, yada, yada. If you want to wild the fuck out, cool, that's the time to do it. The problem is,
no, that's not.
We knew they were going to do it, yes or no, and it was like a pre-planned riot. And there's nothing cool about, like, pre-planned, like, menace. Like, let's all meet at 7:15 at City Hall, and then we're going to paint our names individually in 1x2 squares. Like, you're fucking corny for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and, like, I can't be, like, if you're, like trying to organize flipping someone's car over, some accountant on his second divorce, and you flipping over this jackass's car, he's waking up, he got alimony to pay that day, and then he comes out and sees his car flipped over, because the Eagles fucking won.
I always have to wonder, though, Don't you kind of deserve it for parking on that street the night of the game?
No.
You know where the riot's gonna happen. It's a pre-planned riot. You know what it's gonna be? Where all the cops are barricaded off. Yeah, people
Everyone's
know.
going.
So what are you doing parking your Chrysler 200 on that fucking road?
You're betting that Brady doesn't lose. That's what you're doing. He made a bet.
I guess.
He just bet his car.
That or like
just bet his deductible.
New theory is that the come up if you drive a hoopty. Because insurance covers that.
No,
right?
I got a cousin that burned your car tonight. We can call him up.
Yeah, but
you don't need a ride to do it. I know that guy named Skillet. He'll do it.
What's the better story to the insurance, though?
Yeah.
Nick Foles, Skillet.
Yeah, yeah, one's a little bit more believable.
One's a little whiter.
Yeah.
So that's the other point a lot of people keep making is like, well, like they allow all this to go on, but like they were handcuffing and shooting at like Black Lives Matter protests, and I'm just like, I get it. I'm woke enough to understand it.
Yeah.
But like, this is one of the few times I'm just in that like, can we leave sports alone realm? Like, let niggas be stupid for like 6 hours. Like, we saw this in Vancouver. I think Vancouver did this perfectly, and I hate the Vancouver fucking Canucks. But they lost, they rioted out their Stanley Cup, and the next day, they had a city-organized cleanup day.
Yeah.
So they rioted, and then cleaned everything back up, they made some donations, and they went on about their time. Let's do that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Like, you can riot for like 12 hours, and after that 12 hours, we clean for like 24.
If I'm rioting, I'm making a decision. I'm not cleaning afterwards. This is a riot. Let the city. I pay taxes. Let the city take care of this.
If I riot my apartment, then I'll clean
Yeah,
more.
exactly.
Ooh, good idea. No, honestly, like, let's face facts. The people who are rioting are the people who show up to the cleanup. It's the people who show up to the cleanup who want to feel good about themselves. Let them feel good. I'm going to show up to the riot.
It's true.
I'm gonna show up to neither. Unless they like riot like in the Best Buy, I get a flat screen and the Xbox, then my riot's done.
I mean, I need a dishwasher, bro. Like, my dishes piled up, so Best Buy riot I'm with. Do we want to touch on Super Bowl ads at all? Any that particularly spoke to you, insulted you?
Everyone knows that Martin Luther King speech
I'm so mad I
was
didn't see that
ridiculous.
in real time. I literally, I got up to, get food or whatever, looked at my timeline, it was all that was on my Twitter timeline was, Dodge, really? MLK, really? And I, had to Google and fucking YouTube this shit, and I was just like, bro. What is this video?
It's ridiculous.
It's one thing to use the speech, right? Okay, that's pretty problematic. We're really using civil rights to try and sell pickup trucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that really the demo? But okay, cool, let's go. I'm rolling. This ad exactly.
Here goes the truck that's killed more black people being dragged
I'm saying.
than any other truck.
You know what we used to drag niggas around Alabama with? Dodge Rams. You know what I mean? Buy one. Yeah. But then the whole video is baby, dog, nurse, firefighter, bonfire, inspiration. It's just
Dodge.
Yeah, exactly. It was they took 25 Shutterstock clips of inspiration, played them one after another with inserted clips of a Dodge grill.
Yeah.
And then laid over a random 30-second MLK. It was in a speech where he talks about being anti-capitalist and how pursuing essentially the ideals of the next best thing. And how crippling that is to our society. That's the moment of that speech later on.
Yeah.
The whole thing is messy.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. But yeah, I don't want to. I'm done with the Super Bowl. Do you have anything to say in the Super Bowl?
I was really underwhelmed. I thought I was coming for the entertainment, and I left loving that the Patriots lost. I didn't think Justin Timberlake was great. I don't know what he was wearing, what his background dancers were wearing.
Yeah.
You have so long to prepare and choose your outfit, and were you in the woods? Were you in an acid spill?
The shirt looked like a woods camel. It was like a landscape. I thought you were supposed to blend in with something behind it at some point. That's
why are you
from
the woods all of a sudden? I was very underwhelmed.
Well, and also, why are you from the woods but wearing joggers with Jordans?
Yeah, I think
you got dead stock J's on with joggers and the landscape.
Everything clashed. I wasn't.
Not because you're Justin Timberlake. That
and
doesn't.
Let me say all this.
I mean, you would still smash it after, and you could be wearing that. And you still let them hit it.
Yeah.
But here's my problem with it though. Is I think he pulls that off if he performed well.
Yeah.
He seemed slow to me. Everything seemed to step behind.
He seemed bored.
He seemed bored or old, and I can't tell which.
Ooh, yeah, I think a little bit.
And I can't believe that Justin Timberlake's old yet.
No, he's like 37,
that's what I mean. But he looked like he literally like lost the step. Like I'm used to seeing Justin Timberlake and being like Bruno Mars blown away.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna get a little nipple from him.
You know what? Actually, I really thought like he might like as a fuck you like rip out his own nipple.
That would have been hilarious.
That's what I mean. Like there's so many places to go, and he just never got it.
No.
The Prince thing was dope, I thought.
Did you?
Yeah, I thought. Well, Prince is from Minnesota. It was a good look. I know Prince was completely against having an actual hologram.
I like that they did the screen thing.
So the
instead.
screen thing was like the best thing you could do to tribute to him. I
thought the purple across the city was
It
cool.
was. It was the right thing to do. It was respectful, but just the whole thing, I was like, that's it. I kept waiting for the wow factor.
Have Jay-Z or someone or
Beyonce on that song. They collaborate. Yeah.
Or
They should have done two surprises. They should have just brought some more people out.
Yeah.
I think that Jay-Z and Beyonce weren't. They both did not. I know Jay-Z definitely declined doing anything in the Super Bowl, but I think he should transition it differently and have some surprise guests and shit.
I definitely think a guest or two would have helped. I also think it sounded like he had some sort of technical thing at the beginning because he went from he was singing every word and it sounded horrific. It sounded like metallic. It was definitely not I don't put that on him. It sounded technically bad. And then all of a sudden he was lip singing full verses and just doing pretty much occasional ad libs and dancing, but dancing poorly. I didn't get none of the show really made sense. The mirrors thing was cool. Yeah. I dug that.
I was just like, wow, you think you're cool because you're waving. I don't know. It was okay. I'm just very judgmental.
The light visual was cool to me. I don't know.
Yeah, it was cool.
But yeah, generally underwhelming. Underwhelming is the exact word.
Yeah.
One word reply.
And JT's in that one pocket of the industry where he could probably kick a baby and still get off. A week they'll shame him, but after that, there's JT though.
It's true. I'll be listening to him in 2 days.
Yeah, exactly.
Justin Timberlake just made pretty much a country music album, and we're all giving it a pass. We all made a couple jokes this nigga. And he's like, no,
I'm not a fan of his album either.
I'm not a fan of his albums, period, but I'm a fan of his singles.
His first album,
his
first solo album was dope. It was actually
Justified.
Whatever it's called.
It's called Justified.
I was hoping Britney Spears might pop out. That was my last wish. That Britney Spears might pop out.
No. He did.
Britney Spears pops up, pulls out her.
Every Britney's.
Who wouldn't enjoy that?
Yeah, Britney's had her run. They should just lay her to rest.
Actually, no. I was having this debate with somebody earlier today. Actually, whose career would you take pop star wise? Britney, Katy Perry, or Christina Aguilera? Who do you think's had the best full length, complete career as a pop star?
I think Christina. I mean, besides when she gets super fat and shit.
When did she get fat?
Oh, she got fat. That? Yeah, I'll take Christina.
I missed that.
Besides when she gets she looks like McPiggy for a little bit, but
sorry, it just clicked in my head.
Yeah.
That was.
But yeah, Britney had that weird phase where
the head shaving phase.
Yeah.
And she never really.
And she doesn't.
She's in Vegas now. She made it.
Is she still there? I thought she was done.
Did she do her last show?
I think so.
Was it?
I knew it was coming up.
Yeah.
Is Vegas made? I feel like Vegas is the last. You're pretty much like a circus act at that point.
I feel like you can't go from being Britney Spears to a Vegas act.
Well, I know J-Lo's doing Vegas. And
but that's what I mean. It's cooler now. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's cooler, but it's not like you're gonna drop a hit album after. That's a Dancing with the Stars of it, performance.
The senior tour.
Yeah, exactly. But but she's not really talented. She's just mostly marketing.
Yeah.
I think Christina had the most sustained.
Yeah.
I think she just had the most, she never dropped off Katy Perry's gone off the deep end. Britney Spears went off the deep end, bounced back slightly, and is still in the kiddie end of the pool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like Christina never really sucked.
Yeah.
She didn't peak quite as high as the other two, but she got close and then stayed, she plateaued much higher.
Yeah.
I don't know. Interesting food for thought.
Yeah.
Anyway, other things on my list. Valentine's Day coming up soon. Hold on. Pause the presses. What are you doing for Valentine's Day?
I'm not doing anything.
What is your current situation? Because I don't know the situation.
My current situation is I'm not doing anything for Valentine's Day.
Okay.
For
listeners who don't remember, about 7 episodes ago, Chris got a girlfriend, and now Chris is doing nothing for Valentine's Day.
So that's
you can't fill in the blanks.
I don't.
I mean, I would like to know.
I just no.
All right.
No. I mean, I just don't want to.
Is your wish not to do anything for Valentine's Day part of why you're not doing anything for Valentine's Day?
No. I mean, my thing is that I think Valentine's Day is stupid. But if you are going to do Valentine's Day, you should do it in a situation that you're with someone who you're completely in love with, and you are fucking special and shit like that. And
so hold on.
now,
you apply like the Catholic dad mentality of sex to like celebrating Valentine's Day.
Yep.
Like you shouldn't do it until you're like 100% sure you think you're gonna get married to this person. Then maybe you can explore. Start with like a card, maybe a candy bar. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Have you ever celebrated Valentine's Day?
Yeah, I've celebrated some Valentine's Day. I've never. Dude, Valentine's Day is stupid. One, like you just get so you go to this overpacked restaurant filled with a bunch of dumb people trying to save their shitty relationships, and you sit down there and you just look at each other, fucking and chat, watch you drink expensive $8 drinks and fuck. Why does that keep going on?
You say expensive $8 drinks?
Yeah,
nigga, what are you usually drinking?
I was gonna say, where can I get an $8 drink?
If you give me like a legit $8 cocktail, I'll be thrilled.
Me too.
$8 was a lot for a second.
Bro, I went to. I forgot we glossed over this. I went to that sex party a couple weeks ago, and we're at the bar like when I first get there.
Did you mention the sex party?
Did I not tell you? Yeah.
Tell me more.
We'll get to that, I'm sure. But I ordered like a fucking Jamo Ginger or whatever. This shit was like $17. I was like, yo, like, this is why I don't drink at hotel bars.
Does it come with a blowjob? Is what I'm saying.
It could have. Yeah. So what you were saying about Valentine's Day? So.
Yeah, Valentine's Day is stupid, but you know, if you're with someone, then like, you know, you go through the motions. But everyone should know it's stupid.
What do you have you always when you celebrate Valentine's Day? Have you always gone out? Are you go-outer people, or you stay in? Like, do you like cook a nice meal? Do you like rose petal to the bedroom? Like, what's your Valentine's like move? What's your best Valentine's move? We'll start. I like this. Okay.
I don't even know. Like dinner, like cards, gift. You know, nothing like too big, but something to show that you appreciate it, and you know, then ain't no.
I feel like you are not like the heartfelt guy at all. Like you were hitting cliche.
No, I am
candy, cards, dinner.
Not. I will like look. Because all of it's stupid, but like I will do it because like I feel if I'm with someone, they deserve it. I don't want them, whoever their friends, to be getting this special shit, and if they deserve it, me not do it. I'll do it, although I know it's stupid. But I'll do it.
So why do you do it?
Because whoever I'm with should deserve whatever if she appreciates that, then I'll do it because she appreciates that. And then I'll resent her internally.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
It's jokes.
Do your chocolate and your card.
No, I don't.
Okay, this is a good question. Okay, so first things first. How long y'all gonna been dating before you celebrate Valentine's Day? Like if you're like. So me and my girl's anniversary is in February.
1 year?
So February 10th. So it's like a dual anniversary Valentine's Day. I get out of the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like if you start dating in like December, January, right? Like you're not celebrating Valentine's Day.
No, there has to be.
Incorrect.
There has to be a 1 year mark.
What? You like for real celebrate Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
If you started dating in like November?
I just started dating my boyfriend a month ago, and we are celebrating Valentine's Day.
That's,
what are you doing for Valentine's Day?
Does he have to give you a gift? Because that's
No.
stupid. Yeah. He just got to pay for
I
his
also
meal.
think Valentine's Day is stupid. I don't want to go out because I've worked it as a server, and it's so awkward to watch people spend a boatload of money for no reason.
For some chick
It's
past her
super
prime.
awkward. Yeah. Oh, man.
Yo, I'm encouraging anyone listening to just the audio of this, please go watch this episode on YouTube, because Rachel's facial reactions are 100% worth it. I always forget
just
and
gonna-
I like bring
Okay,
problematic Chris around other people.
I just say shit to get a rise out of people. It's that I
fact.
don't
The
believe
thing
it.
is, you're not wrong. Seen a lot of people out. I just want to spend time with I have never had a good Valentine's Day my entire life. I used to like will myself sick when I was younger because like all my friends had boyfriends and I get so sick. Last year,
How young is this? You're like hypochondriac yourself.
young, like
12 or like
Yeah.
15.
like both.
So
But-
like 11 years old, you were like bugging out because like all
Yeah.
my friends have boyfriends.
When
and
you
I
live
don't
in New York City, you know, you gotta hustle. You gotta find a boyfriend. You gotta be cool. There's all these things. But then last year, one of my best friends got me a box of chocolates, like really delicious Ghirardelli chocolates. The next day, I got the stomach flu and threw them up all over the floor. So like, fuck that. But this year, I will have a good Valentine's Day. All I want is a card and some chocolates, not that one specific box. I've already taken him to the drugstore and said, not that box.
All right, I'm gonna pull a shameless plug here for your boyfriend's sake and for anyone else out there listening who's in the Boston area. Drive your ass up to either Salem or Gloucester, go to Turtle Alley. Your girlfriend will thank you. It's the very best chocolate that you'll find on God's green earth. The actual Queen of England gets their shit imported to her. It's that fucking
No
good.
way.
I swear to God.
From Massachusetts?
Yes, and they make the world's best turtles. If you're a turtle person, they make a bunch of other shit that's delicious too. I've been going there since I was fucking 15. Every girlfriend I've had on a Valentine's Day has thanked me gloriously, even though I ate half of it.
I thank you in advance for getting me some.
Thank you, boyfriend.
You know where I live.
Send him the link.
Flowers, flowers too.
Oh, now you want flowers too?
But this is my thing, right? So the base expectation is like you show up with some nice chocolates, which although I just plugged them, like nice chocolates are expensive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm coming through with like a $20 box of chocolates.
Yeah.
A minimum, even if I'm cheaping out, like $15,
Yeah.
$20 worth of flowers. Throw another $5 for the card. Maybe we go get a bottle of wine or two. Like all of a sudden, I'm in the hole for like $80
I know.
for a chick I met 6 weeks ago.
Because you already smashed, so why?
Like yo, like what is
What am I doing?
Like a fourth, fifth date?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, is
No.
Valentine's Day sex a thing? Like, is that something you want
Yo,
to like butter someone up
Okay.
for? Is
Yo,
that like?
you want to talk about a Valentine's fucking move? So a couple of years ago, this is back when like Mitch had energy and didn't hate the entire world quite yet. But I'm also hella broke at this point. I was like working 2 part-time jobs, whatever. So I'm like, how do I be like in my relationships in the gutter at this point? So it's like, how do I salvage this relationship? Be like emotionally supportive boyfriend. I want to surprise her, but do all of this for like less than $170 because I'm pissed.
Oh, that's a high number.
Oh no, but I was like, I wanted to make like a statement. Like
Okay.
this was gonna be like, if this night goes well, like maybe we salvage this. If it doesn't, we probably shouldn't be together.
I'd rather be $170 richer. This relationship's not worth $170.
I'd rather find out for $170 than find out 3 years later.
Yeah.
And so I Groupon the shit out of this day. I hit a Brazilian steakhouse. We caught a comedy show. Did some other shit or whatever. And then the comedy show we caught was at a hotel. And I got in a room at the hotel, but like didn't tell her. And so then, speaking of Valentine's Day sex, we're both like drunk, whatever. We go wander off to go like find somewhere in the hotel to like have sex. I find a room key in the elevator. We go to try and figure out which room it is. Open up the room. Rose petals to the bed, champagne, candles all around the room, the whole shit. And like, for all that effort, mood's dope. I got the music playing. Like, I've never like had like romantical like movie type sex like that.
Yeah.
This shit was done like 22 minutes.
And now is that
Yeah,
your fault or her fault?
Now you got buyer's
No,
remorse.
like neither. Like it was good sex. Like not buyer's remorse, but it's also like.
The trailer of this movie is really good.
But exactly, like here's the thing, like what do you like? What they never show you in that movie moment is like,
Yeah.
what are you doing after that?
No, that's why I don't like the
True.
setup. It's like
I'm hanging out in a bed that's like stained with rose petals. I'm thinking in the back of my head, shit, the incidentals on this bitch is gonna be wild. I got wax dripping off the fucking desk. The champagne ice is all melted
Yeah.
on the floor. Like, I'm
But
like,
it's guys like you that have to put that bar so high. Because it's like, you say I don't do any of that stuff, but then you did it. So then it's like,
No,
all
I
the
do
girls
that
now
stuff.
want that. Because it's like, all right, I just want a box of chocolates, but like, I'm not going to be mad if you go above and
here's my
beyond.
question though. Like, and this is my argument that I make as that guy is what's the point in me spending $80 on a mediocre box of chocolates, some shitty flowers, a mediocre card, and like a bottle of wine that I picked up at the liquor store next to your house, versus like me going out and spending $120 and getting a hotel room and getting you like real fucking roses and treating you to like a really special quote unquote evening. Like it cost me an extra $40 like an hour more prep time. Yeah. Worth it for a girl I like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I'd rather I think it'd be cooler to take all that money. Like let's say Valentine's Day falls on like a Wednesday or Thursday. Like, hey, fuck this. Let's just go on a road trip on Friday and go middle of nowhere. Go out to eat there, somewhere cheap.
Dude, you know what me and my girlfriend are doing for our anniversary / Valentine's Day? I'm going and getting giant plate-sized blueberry pancakes. At like high noon so that we can sleep in all day.
Yeah.
Like taking a trip up to Salem, going to hang on the coast, eat delicious breakfast, and like cuddle all day. That's my plan.
That's it.
And that's
You're
all.
a cuddler.
Oh yeah.
I peg you as that.
You asked me about my open relationship earlier. One of me and my girlfriend are in constant communication. Like we reset kind of like our boundaries and our rules all the time. The only rule that has really never been anytime it's even been brought up for discussion, it's like a one-word discussion. That word is no. It's like, don't cuddle with anyone else. Like that is like the one rule of our relationship. Like, fuck around however you want to. Like everything is malleable and discussable. You're not cuddling. And like the one time I hooked up with somebody who we slept in the same bed and it was so awkward because I was intentionally sleeping back to back with this person, and she's like, aren't you gonna cuddle? And I was like, nah, I can't do that. She's like, what do you mean you can't? I was like, nah. Here's my girl's number. You want to call her? You can ask, but no.
You might as well leave at that point.
Yeah, do that. I was too drunk to leave.
Yeah.
That was a while ago. That was not a recent thing. Anyway, I'm sidetracked. Valentine's Day. So you're supposed to go out, I feel like, yeah? For all the things I just said, once you're...
I don't want to go out.
Yeah.
I think you're supposed to go out for... You're either supposed to go out or do a real date night in.
Yes.
For the first one.
Yeah.
I think Valentine's 2 through proposal, you can kind of take it more low key, do it a day trip, a weekend trip or something like that, go catch a show or something together maybe, or something lighter. You know what I mean?
Just spending time together, honestly.
Exactly. Because I feel when you're dating for a year, it's I see you minimum 2-3 times a week. Let's carve out some extra time for us this week and celebrate us, but we don't have to do anything that fancy. Yeah. I think once you're engaged, engagement through marriage, you gotta bring it on Valentine's Day. You can't be a fiance and be weak sauce in Valentine's Day. Yeah. Sorry, you put a ring on it and you haven't tied the knot.
That ring that's worth 12 Valentine's Day.
Agreed. And you know when you get to cash those in? Yeah. After you're married.
Yeah.
Because I don't care how long you want to be engaged. You can be engaged for 10 years if you want to, but all 10 of those Valentine's Days, you better fucking bring it. Once you're married, anniversary Valentine's Days. Yeah. Your 5th Valentine's Day, 10th. It's your first one, your 5th one, your 10th. It's
as long as you remember.
Exactly. You're talking about mailing it. Literally, you can send a card and a single red rose, and you're good money.
Yeah, you get as many roses of weeks as you squatted. That is why that's keep the play.
You say that and you go meet a chick who does mad legs and you're gonna be broke as fuck, bro. Long stem roses are $9
I'll
a
mix
piece.
them in with some fake ones. I got a cousin.
My man go to Trader Joe's, the 20 roses for $9.99.
I go to 7-Eleven and mix them in with some real roses.
You want to talk about some guy code plugs for fellas out there listening for Valentine's advice? Go to Trader Joe's or Whole Foods for your roses. No bullshit. Whole Foods do 2 dozen roses for $24.99.
Yeah.
Beautiful fucking
budget
roses. But they're nice ass roses. Yeah. So I do those, and I do sunflowers from Trader Joe's. That's my shit. And you can get lilies for $7. There's not
Trader Joe's.
There's nothing wrong with grocery store.
$2 Chuck was it?
Oh yeah, $2 Chuck the one.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Listen. There's nothing wrong with grocery store flowers so long as you go to an upscale grocery store. Yeah. If you go to a Trader Joe's, you go to a Whole Foods, you go to a Wegmans, so whatever. You know what I mean? So long as you don't get market basket flowers, you're good money, dog. You just fine.
I got you roses and sushi.
Yeah.
Sushi. Yeah. Basically, anything but Russell Stover chocolates, or else we're breaking up.
Yeah, is it death warrant?
Russell Stover is crap. You literally
I thought you
walked into the store, closed your eyes, and handed it to the checkout person.
Yeah, you went to CVS and bought it off the end cap.
But, like, they sell nice shit at CVS. Like, you don't have to get Russell Stover. Like, if you buy Russell Stover, it's basically like, I don't love you, here's your chocolate.
I put zero thought into this, and I remember my grandma giving me this when I was a kid, so here's some for you.
Yeah.
Sorry, Russell Stover.
Well, now I know not to get Russell Stovers.
You're welcome.
Unless I want to break up. That's why I want to explain to someone I don't love them.
That'd be the illest breakup. You just walk up and be like, Happy Valentine's Day.
That would be a great commercial for, like, Girardelli or something.
I actually love this idea.
The Super Bowl commercial should hire us to write their commercials.
How do you have bad Super Bowl commercials? You have so long and so much money. It's like,
do you know how much money it costs to run a Super Bowl ad this year?
Millions.
For the cheapest Super Bowl ad slot of the game this year.
30-second spot.
30-second spot. $4.4 million.
Jeez. You get someone shot for that.
You can get everybody a shot for that. Nigga, I could get a gang taken care of for $5 million. I know people who catch you bodies for 15. You kidding me?
You get a lot of work done.
I get guys who keep it quiet for 25. Shit. $5 million?
The judge paid off.
Nigga, I could kill a lawyer for $5 million. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, those doctors who got knocked off in the South End, they were pushing pills. What are they worth? Like $500,000 each?
Yeah.
Look, ain't nobody caught who killed them yet. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, FBI, if you're listening, I don't murder people for real. I don't know anyone named Julio or Chavez or any of it. Rachel looking at me very nervous right now, like, who is Julio?
Mm-hmm. I'm from Hell's Kitchen. That's where the Irish mob was. I know stuff.
Oh, that's right.
I know stuff.
Daredevil's from, too.
Wait, for real? I'm not a comic guy.
Yeah. I shouldn't even have said that.
So wait, when did you move here? Give us the Rachel backstory, because we should get into that.
Sure. I moved here like 6.5 years ago. I went to BU to do my undergrad, and then I did my master's as well, and then I stayed. I was
What'd you get your master's in?
BU for gastronomy, which is a fancy word for food studies.
Gastronomy.
Gastronomy. People are like, so you like analyze people's digestive tracts? I'm like,
that just sounds like a farting fetish to me. Very into gastronomy. Goes right along my water sports.
I got a cam show.
I'll make sure that's my pickup line nowadays.
There you go.
Except I don't need one anymore.
Is that what your undergrad was too?
So I did my.
You get those Russells. Yeah, you may.
Buy me Russell Stovers. Get the gastronomy.
I did my undergrad in hospitality management and journalism because I wanted to be around food, but I didn't really know how else to do it.
Do you cook? Are you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. And so, what made you not want to do like the food thing for professional sake?
I thought I was going to manage restaurants because that's basically what hospitality is, and I've worked in restaurants for the last 6 years, and I am really lucky. I've worked at some great places for some great people, but I really don't like the restaurant industry as a career path. I think it's a very efficient way to make money as a creative person, as a writer.
Like a dog.
But I have hustled all through college. I've worked always at least 1 to 2 jobs, and it's like I've never been a 9 to 5.
You always had my job as an adult? No way.
Thank you so much for acknowledging me. I really appreciate it. That was rude. Yeah, so.
Yes. Acknowledged.
Yeah, no, restaurants are tough. It's like, I want to love them, but at the same time, I really just hate them. It's really, like, I feel like rewarding bad behavior by guests, really hurts me. Like, when someone complains and is a jerk to me, but then we, like, give them free drinks or comp their meal, like, that doesn't make sense to me. And, like, I love giving people good experiences. I'm super friendly. I love being around food, but just the whole lifestyle too of like you literally have to be at work unless you're throwing up or like bleeding out. That really
and also depending on like the style of restaurant, like it can completely change your life schedule. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like when I worked in a nightclub or type of environment, it's like. I got out of work at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a night person, and it's like, it's totally cool when I'm doing that as my consistent thing, but now that I'm getting up early to do writing and, like, teach yoga and stuff, it's just, it kind of throws me off because being there late, like, I'm doing it more for the money, but I'm lucky. The place that I work, like, everyone is so wonderful. I love working with them. I work for a really, really strong female.
This is where you cover your ass here.
But no. I am so lucky to work for a female boss who is a badass. Like, she is standing up to sexual harassment in the industry. It's gotten so bad. She actually published an article on Eater today about it. And, like, I am so thankful and proud to work for an organization like that, because I think women are so undermined in the restaurant industry, and it's really not okay.
I'm very interested kind of like within the Me Too environment, like when that extends to other like less famous occupations, because it's somebody who obviously was in, you know, the restaurant industry, who wants to be in the entertainment industry, who currently works in professional sports, who worked in tech for a long time. There's one very common thread there, and that is rampant sexism, if not sexual, harassment at the very least. Like lots of discrimination, and I think that was one of the issues I had in a lot of times in tech was like, it was weird to be like the person in the room championing women as like just kind of like the other fellow token minority. Like, I was probably the only black employee at most of the companies I worked at. The last one, I think we had like 2. There was like 1 queer employee between like the 4 companies I worked at. I think we had like 4, maybe 5 female coworkers in my 4 tech startups. So it was always like this weird, like we had one of everybody but none of anyone. You know what I mean? And the restaurant industry, it's quite the opposite. There's women everywhere. You know what I mean? I feel like, but it's very much that classic hierarchy of all the powers at the top, but of like very few men, and all the employees are 70% of the company is female. So they it's not so much discriminatory as like the culture of the business, the sexualization of it, and it just I don't know.
What's tough is like you're expected to just deal with it. It's like
you're expected to be hospitable, and people's definitions of that alter based on a million different things.
Yeah, totally.
And one person's like hospitality is another person's like rape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, exactly. And I mean, even
how
from within,
those lines
it's like,
aren't clear, I don't know.
If someone says something to your and you speak up about it, you're always afraid that like someone's gonna be like, oh, like you can't take it, or like they just look at you as weak. When I work in a place where the second you speak up after waiting for so long, they're like, oh my gosh, why did you wait so long? Because it's happened to me, and it's like, I don't know, because I'm tough and I don't want to be weak, and it's like, it's just so nice to see that there are people trying to make a difference in the industry, and it's like blown up recently just with.
Well, yeah, and I think that's probably one of the more natural progressions of that like wave of noise, if you will, for lack of a better term. It's like I feel like service is so tied to entertainment, right? Like no one goes anywhere to be entertained and doesn't expect to be waited on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like there's kind of a natural tie-in and like a crossover there, which like, obviously it starts with the chefs, and I think you're
I mean, that perspective too, being waited on, like that really drives me nuts. It's like I walk up to a table, I am bubbly, I'm blonde, I have blue eyes. I know that the first thought from a lot of people, they look at me and it's like, you're fucking dumb. And I know that because I feel it. And then all I want to say to people is like, I have a master's, I live on my own, like I have a creative job. Like I know
this is a way nicer place than mine or Chris's.
Yeah, it's rent. It's the thing.
So here's my question. I guess. Why do you? So obviously, like, what's the next move then? Because obviously, you don't want to be doing this.
Yeah. So I mean, I think working in a restaurant with my friends is a great, efficient way to make money. I'm really lucky to do that.
How old are you now?
Sorry.
How old are you?
I'm 25 and a half.
Okay, cool.
And a half.
After 30, I'll stop at the halves, but
most people do.
Yeah, everyone has said that to me recently, but I'm sticking with it. 25 and a half. I am working on starting a blog consulting business. I currently manage the blog for Bites of Boston Food Tours. They're one of the top rated food tour companies in Boston. I'm helping them develop new food tours. So it's super fun. To just like feel like my voice can be out there, but also helping a small business owner who really, really needs to find recognition on the internet. So I'm trying.
What's the split? How much do you want your voice out there versus how much do you like get out of helping others?
I think it's got to be.
I like
both.
helping people.
It's got to be a balance.
It's genuine. When people appreciate it, though, like I work again. It's another like woman, small business owner who like used to work a corporate job and hustled her way to start this business and make it work. And it's like, I am able to use my skills to help her get recognition on the internet and get more business. Like, it's a win-win, honestly.
How long have you been doing that?
I've been doing that for a year, and I feel like there's a need for it in Boston. There's a lot of small businesses popping up, like chocolate shops and ice cream business. I mean,
a lot of tours. I feel like food tours themselves are very like Bites of Boston's one of the ones I can pick out the name of, but I feel like every other day I see like
a lot of them have come and gone.
Yeah, that's right.
So this one has stayed consistent.
It's kind of like the ghost tours when I lived in
Totally,
Salem.
yeah. I'd like to do that. So she's continuing to build tours, and I'm hoping to continue with that. I also like to do personal memoir. Food memoir is a topic that people don't really understand.
Okay, so what the fuck is a food memoir?
Yeah, so
last I checked, a memoir is like my autobiographical reflection of
so
my life.
that's
is
basically
like
what
that
it
through food.
Yes.
You're like, yo, when I was 19, these Wendy's chicken nuggets just blew my. They spoke to me on a spiritual level. Something like that. No.
You need a little more practice.
All right,
a little editing.
That's fair.
It basically is. Honestly, there's a wide spectrum of writing that fits under food memoir. Anything that's personal, that's related to food. Like, I've written pieces where food is mentioned one time, and I've written pieces that food is the entire lens. So it really depends on what the topic is. I've been doing a lot of writing. My mom's been really sick the last couple years, so I've done a lot of like nostalgic writing about that through food. I've also just like had these really vivid taste experiences where I taste something and it's just like the words just come. But it's hard to be a writer because like you have to be self-motivated, and I have put myself in the box of food writing. Other writing doesn't really appeal to me, so I think I have to really, really hustle in this field that's starting to gain recognition. And
I'm curious, do you only write like factual pieces, or do you write like food fiction too?
I've never done food fiction, but it's funny because like when I started writing as a 9-year-old, with all my wisdom, I wrote fiction, and it was so fun and just so freeing to me. But I'm so intimidated to write fiction now. I could never.
It's funny.
Do that.
I very much. So I wrote fiction most of my life. Like fiction and poetry. And the older I got, I'll still think of the same stories. But I'm like, no, like you can't say that. So
that's because your rational brain starts to kick in. When you're younger, it's just like you just do things. It's like you just like.
How do you avoid that? Because obviously, as a comic, you have to wash away like the rational side of your brain. But like, no, you can say that. Like, this is gonna work.
Yeah.
And obviously, you write probably more than either of us do.
Yeah. I actually just got a month-long writing block where I couldn't write shit, and I just got out of this weekend. But I don't know. I think I think that you have to do things that scare you, and I am like very good at being like, oh, this is scary, so that's the reason I'm going to do it, because it scares the shit out of me. Playing it safe just never worked for me. So if it's whether it's comedy, getting on stage, like all the shows that I took since I got back in town in January, I haven't wanted to do because I haven't been in a writing block and a funk. But I'm just like, I don't want to do anything, so I'm gonna force myself to do it in order to get out of this hole. And you're able to force yourself through that process? Yeah, it's just like I treat it just like going to the gym. Like, everyone hates going to the gym until it's over. And then they hate and then a year down the line, you fucking love every decision. So like when I'm in these holes, I'm just like, I'm just gonna fucking go. And every time I'm like, fuck yeah. Now you write most of your jokes are based in fact as well, right? Like they're based on real stories. Usually there's a seed of fact in all of them, and then either I'll just completely make up the rest of it, or I'll or half of it's true, and then I'll embellish the rest of it and make it funny and shit. But so I guess that's where I'm curious. So obviously you have a lot. You have less wiggle room because what you're aiming for is to tell the truth of the story. Yeah, I like doing two. Yeah, I like doing two kinds of writing. I really like doing profiles and getting to know people and telling their story. Interesting. I also like to do kind of lighter lifestyle pieces and neighborhood guides and things like that. But to go back to what you were saying, writing is a job, and I think a lot of people think that you just get struck with this inspiration, you just write it. You have to sit down and write. Exactly. It's not always going to be good. But it's mostly going to be dog shit, actually. Yeah, no, it is mostly going to be crap. But you have to sit down and do it, and that's the hardest part for me. It's I'll do everything else in my day, and it's hard to make the time for writing. I have all these ideas, but actually self-motivating is the hardest part. Where I'm at, I'm trying to do 20 minutes a day. But I'd never, if I sit down and I start writing, say I'm gonna write 20 minutes, it always ends like an hour later, and I'm just like, oh fuck. Most of it's dog shit, but like I did it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: you sit down to write for 20 minutes, sure, you write for an hour, and you end up with 5 minutes that isn't dog shit. You know
Maybe,
what I mean?
yeah.
Maybe, right? Fair, maybe. But it's like if you only wrote for 20 minutes, it'd be 20 minutes of dog shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. As I said, like I've been writing all of my life, and I pretty much stopped writing around like 22, 23 or so.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like been on my list. It's like I want to get back to it, but I'm very intimidated by just that, like the block of it all. So I'm curious, kind of like why food? Like what makes you so passionate? Like you just eat something, you're like, oh my god, I just have to tell the world about this, and there's no other way I could ever spread the gospel of this sandwich than by the written word. Like what brings you to action for that?
I love talking about this because every time someone asks me, like, what do you do as a food writer? Like, are you a critic? Like, do you just write about dishes? That's such a narrow view of what is, and it's okay because people don't really understand what food writing actually is, and I like to write from the emotional side of things, and I like to write about nostalgia. I'll be walking down the street and I'll smell a food and it'll make me think of being in my grandmother's kitchen when it's like raining outside and she's cooking spaghetti and meatballs, something like that. I really like to write about my own emotions and my own experiences, and if I do taste something that's really great, I want to tell the world about it, but I'm not trying to critique restaurants. I'm honestly not like trying to go out and get free food. Like, I'm trying to share my experiences with people, and that's also been hard because it's like, why does anyone want to hear my experiences? There's so many people in the world. But when I'm reading someone else's personal writing and I can connect to one moment of it, it's so special that, like, why can't I try to do that? Yeah. So that's my goal. If I can make you think about your grandmother's kitchen or like a special moment you had growing up, I've done my job. Yeah.
I think the biggest thing, like, one of the biggest blocks for anyone creative is what you say right there. Why am I special? Like, why would I do this? And it's usually what stops a lot of people from approaching something creative or feeling like they have something to offer. It's that like little seed of doubt, like what makes me so important? And it's like, yeah, but if you think something, you should do it because someone is going to be affected. Just like almost a rippling effect on your creativity.
Yeah.
Well, not to stroke our own dicks too hard here, but like that's one of the things like this podcast really showed me was like I didn't realize that many people really gave a shit what I had to say or what you had to say. Like I didn't know you before, so I definitely did give a shit what you had to say because you're some stranger on the internet. Now I kind of give a shit what you had to say. But no, it's been very interesting to me because it's like. All of a sudden, it's like, not that we're like crazy famous or anything, but all of a sudden, like a couple hundred people every week are like listening to like what the fuck I have to say about something. And it's like, well, I don't know what makes me like qualified to do that. I have some like premonitions about what I think do.
It's
but
because you're being genuinely you. It's taken me, I mean, not that long, but like 25 years to learn that like you just have to speak in your own voice. Don't try to sound like someone else. Don't try to use fancy language. Like
I just feel like that's such cliche advice to give people, though.
But it's very hard because for people to do.
It's very hard.
I also think it's unreal. Like for a lot of people, it's unrealistic. Like a lot of people can't be themselves and maintain circumstances that allow them to live. You know what I mean? Like, it's easier to be yourself when you have a job where you can be yourself at.
Exactly.
It's easier to be yourself when you have a family you can be yourself around.
But you need, but it's necessary to find that whatever zone or whatever medium, creative outlet where you can just be yourself and be like completely true and be honest. And if it's something like writing or stand up or acting or whatever, it's a necessity to be yourself because we get so inundated with like media and shit like that. People are so like sensitive to bullshit now that I think right now it's way more important to be yourself and be like true. Hey, bud. Yeah, he agreed.
So let me ask you this then. Like, somebody gave me the advice when I was younger, and God, do I wish I took it looking back. But you both obviously moved, to new places or whatever. How much of that do you feel like gave you kind of like the license to like find yourself? Because I feel like that's a lot of people's biggest hangups is like I'm still within an hour of where I grew up, right? Mm-hmm. So anything I do, whether it be on air on this podcast or at work or when I went to school or whatever, like it's very probable to get back to people who've known me for 20 plus years. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whereas like being from Ohio, there's a lot of things like you can do here that nobody there will ever know about, so it gives you a freedom to be yourself. Same thing being from New York, I'm sure.
That's a great question.
Does that like open up the door for you to be like, fuck it, like I can be this new me, and like I think it's hilarious this cat's can be this like I can be this new me, and then like nobody who knows the old me is gonna be here to judge it. Like one of the strangest things about adulthood to me is like you only know people how you met them. Like I only know 24-ish old you. You know what I mean? I've known you for like a year. Yeah, that's the only version of Rachel I know. I have no idea who you were at 16. I don't know who you were at 25. You know what I mean?
I mean, I've always been a sparkly unicorn.
That makes perfect sense to me. But like, I don't know. Like, how much of it is that? Like,
you know, I honestly have to say I am very lucky to have been born and raised in New York City, and I feel like just this attitude of like
all New
I can
Yorkers
be.
seem to think.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I can be
Second
complete.
best city in the Northeast.
Well, I'm not going to start this because I don't want to embarrass you on your own podcast.
I appreciate that.
But you're welcome. So, being from New York, like I've always just had this like go get it attitude. Like I started taking the subway when I was 11 years old. It's like I have always been pretty independent. And I started living out of the house when I was 16. I went to boarding school to play ice hockey. So
what?
Yeah.
All right. Fun fact.
Fun fact. I went to Olympic training camp for 2 years for ice hockey. Yeah. So, yes, Steve. I lived away when I was so young, and so I kind of like got that
out of the way.
Yeah. And then I went away to college, and I didn't even really look at any colleges in New York, I don't think. I have been super close with my parents my whole life, but the second I moved here, it just felt so like freeing to be in charge of what I was doing all the time. And my parents always gave me the freedom to do whatever I wanted. But
now
I took it and I ran with it. And I did think that I'd want to move back to New York after school. But I just haven't been ready. I know, haven't been ready to do it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I will admit that for the first couple of years I lived here, I had that attitude of like, wow, New York is so much better. I'm so much better. Like all those things. And now it's just like, I really love Boston. New York has my heart. It has my heart, and it taught me to be independent. It taught me to grow up really fast. It taught me to just like be myself at all times. But I don't know. I've also learned a lot growing into adulthood in Boston. So
it's funny you say that. People are very scared of the idea of raising like kids in an urban environment.
I hate that.
I think like New York City, actually, in my opinion, everyone I know who grew up there, those are like the best people I know. Because like you are exposed to literally everything, but in this very confined, like safe way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
totally.
Like nothing's gonna happen without 5 billion fucking witnesses. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like go on, like do whatever. Just keep your pager on you. Make sure like you don't go down like fucking 112. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? That's just kind of how it is.
Except now it's getting all bougie up there.
Oh yeah, exactly. Fucking Uptown's the new BX. But and so I guess like you kind of have that early exposure to a lot of different people. I feel like otherwise you have to kind of go somewhere else. Like New York's the only place with every type of like I consider myself a person of diverse background, diverse friend groups. I know you have the fucking Rainbow Coalition of friends, as we always joke about. It's like a few of your best friends are Middle Eastern, right? It's like just being from Boston, like this is the largest like Middle Eastern population the Northeast has ever had, and it's like 2% maybe of the greater Boston area. So it's like I didn't know any Middle Eastern people growing up. Like the fucking 9/11 happened, I was like, where are they from? Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, where the fuck is this? You know what I mean? Like I never like heard of these places when I was like 11, 12 years old. But then like. Or like
that's so crazy to me.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even think about that, which is like I could be from this huge city, but like that's still so narrow-minded of me to not even to just think that everyone knows everyone all the time.
But and I guess like it's weird because I want to be one of these people who's like I'm accepting of all people, inclusion for everybody, peace, love, and unity. At the same time, like. It's like there are so many types of people I've literally never met. So for all I know, like they could be the demons that fucking white people make them out to be. I have no idea. I just give them the benefit of the doubt because I've never met them. You know what I mean? It's like I've had like 6 Asian friends collective ever in my life. You know what I mean? There was like 4 Asian people in my entire hometown. I just didn't know any of them. Life has shown me all the ones I've met and have befriended. Seemingly good people, no beef. You know what I mean? Yeah. But at the same time, like I don't know a ton of them. And so one of the weird things about adulthood, like moving out, is like the slow, like I guess introduction of all these new cultures. And I wonder if that's better to have young when you're still adaptable, or old when you like can kind of like think through the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
I think I always had like a diverse group of friends since I was young, and I think it helps.
Were there like any like obvious blank spots? Like obviously, I know you have mad black friends, I know you have mad Middle Eastern friends, couple of Asian friends. Like, are there like groups of ethnicities that are just like missing completely from your friend circles?
Not really. I mean, not that I would like are close friends, but I've always been like very open. So like, I would have like friends that were like, I would have friends of all different cultures throughout like high school, middle school, and so forth. So like, and I knew like it was when you're a minority, and then you hear certain like you hear other people's opinions about the minority group, you realize early that this is bullshit. So I'm assuming the rest of this shit I've heard is bullshit. So like you move, and once you establish that at a young age, you can maneuver through culture and society, knowing that people have their already prejudice and there's opinions and so forth.
I think that's the answer then.
Yeah,
I think that's the trick to New York is white people grow up around enough other minorities that like they have that experience. Like you hear the way other people talk about insert whatever minority group here, and then you look to your left and you look to your right, and it's like, no, that shit can't be true. I've been hanging out with these kids since we were 4.
Or this guy owns this guy who's Pakistani owns the store in the corner. He's always been good to us.
Exactly.
And
then by the time you're of age to like make a decision, it's like, well, I know you gave me bullshit about them. I know you gave me bullshit about them. So it's like, the shit you're saying about women, that's probably not true. The shit you're saying about queer people, that's probably not true. Yeah. The shit you're saying about Pakistani people, I know that ain't true. Yeah. And all of a sudden, it's like, that's why I kind of love like new school teenagers in New York City. Like these like 60, like they're all on way too many drugs and doing all sorts of fuck shit. But boy, is that like an inclusive group. Yeah, you can just show, like you go to like a teenage hip hop show in like Brooklyn now, and niggas just out here like, like I'm asexual but pansexual but transgender but like 14 different races and I have one arm. Yeah. Don't discriminate against me. I'm like, nigga, I'm just trying to figure you out.
It's just like, oh, that's it?
Word. It's just like, word, my nigga. Like, let's smoke a blunt. You know what I mean? It's just mad chill. And I love that.
That's what I love about New York. I've always said, too, that, like, I feel like I grew up in a huge city, but in a small neighborhood. Like, I knew all the deli owners. I knew the person at the laundromat, the restaurant. Like, I know everyone.
And so I guess, like, I think that's what's changed about New York is, like, the neighborhood used to be, like, they're still small or whatever, but, like, before internet, like the neighborhood was small and you didn't leave the neighborhood. Now you have friends from all, like, you have friends from every neighborhood in the borough. You know what I mean, at least? And so, like, between that, then you fucking know all sorts of people. Where back then, like, you only hung out in the neighborhood. So it's like, you might have gotten to 20 years old and not known and not Italian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you grew up in the same neighborhood in 1975.
Yeah.
Which is a scary, scary thought because those people run the government.
But but I agree. One of the backtrack on one of the things you asked is that I do think that leaving your environment that you grew up with does allow you an opportunity to reinvent yourself. Yes. Unlike because if you grow up in one town and you stay there throughout your life, those opinions have an effect on you. Like if you were like the bad kid or like the class clown or like the jokester, it's very hard for people to remove you outside that box. So when you're the class clown and now you want to start a business, like, no, dude, just make jokes. Why are you running a business? When did you become a business guy? And it's like, that has weight. And
the guy saying that is the guy at the bank you just applied for a loan.
Exactly. And you know, and the one thing when you move away from it, and you have a time alone, and you have time to explore and to re-examine yourself, you realize that's your insecurity that you're projecting on me. Like,
it's also like that's a younger me. You know what I mean? Like one of the things I think is tough for a lot of people to accept, and like I grapple with obviously like still living here or whatever, is like you're allowed to just separate the like versions of yourself. Like I've been so many different types of people, and a lot of them were very shitty. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I was a terrible human being a lot of different times. I was a thief. I was a liar. I was a cheating, shitty boyfriend. Like I found out I had an STD while I was in the middle of getting a blowjob. Didn't tell the person until after. Jesus. You know what I mean? Like I've been a terrible person at a lot of different times in my life.
But that one time you put roses on the bed in the hotel.
Yeah. That shit did not work. That led to the worst breakup. But my point is, like, you're allowed to then, like, recognize that you were shitty and change and grow up. And I think that's harder to do with people who've known you the whole time. Because you never,
you guys, the battery's dying. Really, once we reach this, like, hour point, like, the battery starts to be like, hey.
You stay doing this to me. No, but I think it's one of those things, like, you reach a certain point where, like, people think that they know everything that there is to know about you, so you can't change their mind. It doesn't matter what you do. And that's obviously a lot easier to do with a new audience. So that's why I think picking up and getting away is important. That being said, like, I think it just takes a certain amount of confidence and willpower to, like, look at people who've known you for 20 years and be like, yeah, I get it. Like, you knew me when I was throwing up outside of a bar and, like, peeing on myself. Yes, I wear suits to work now. Get over it. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I plan on, like, starting my investment portfolio and buying some properties. Like, we're fucking old now. Like, get with the program, dude. I guess it's sad to see that some people like can't ever make that transition. You know what I mean?
No, that is sad. I've never had that extreme experience of, like, being one person making a big change. I've just kind of, like, I feel like I've grown in myself emotionally, and it's also like growing up in New York. I played hockey, so, like, so much of my life in New York was hockey at school, and now I feel like I've been able to come into my own socially and just, like, live a life in Boston that's...
So you said you went to boarding school, you were in Olympic training, we kind of, like, glossed over that. Yeah. What is that like?
So,
do you have a social life? Do you
tense.
see other people?
Not really.
Do you date? Like,
not
really. Do you ever eat real food?
Oh, not really. I went to so many chain restaurants that just, like, really hurt my food soul. But I stepped on the ice when I was 7. I played hockey until right before college, and it was the only thing I did. I trained year-round. I played boys hockey, played girls, I played travel, I played tournaments, I did the Olympic training camps. It was just, like, nonstop because the goal was to play D1 hockey because that was, and then maybe go to the Olympics because that was the option for women at that point. And now the NWHL exists, and that was not in my sights when I was playing, and I just got so burned out, and I said, man, I just want to have a life in college. I don't want to be tied to the rink, to the gym, because I wasn't able to put the blinders on to the rest of my life at that point. I was able to do it for so long, but I got to the point where it's just like, I know that this is not going to be the rest of my life, and I need to start building it now. So it did kind of feel like a new start when I came to Boston, because I wasn't looking at Boston schools for hockey, so I came here. And
interestingly enough.
I know. I know. I was probably going to be, like, out in the middle of the woods with no cell phone service, which is, like, as a city girl, I just could never, I could never live that life. No, and even just being confined to doing one thing in college, like just playing hockey, like, I just couldn't do it anymore. I really, really needed to break free and just, like, figure myself out. And I feel like I've grown a lot in the last 4 years. Like, I figured out my career path.
So what happened with hockey? You just said you were done, that was it?
But yeah, I was in Detroit playing a hockey tournament.
I'm assuming you were getting, like, from the sound of it, you have, like, fucking scholarship offers and shit lined up. Like, you just took a pass on all that?
You know,
and took, like, 120 grand in student loans?
Yeah, that doesn't make it sound so good. So
I mean, like, Russian, man, this is crazy.
Basically, a lot of my friends played other sports, and I was never interested in other sports. So I played hockey year round, which led to me getting super burned out. And I was getting, like, scholarship offers from really, really high-level D3 schools, but I was still kind of on the cusp of D1, so I took a gap year between high school and college to train and get to that level. And during that year, I literally just had one day breakdown, and I was like, I can't do this. I just walked away. I, like, went to practice the next week. I told the team, and I just quit.
So you walked away.
Not quit. I don't like that word. I didn't quit. I realized that it wasn't going to be sustainable for me to keep playing. And I stopped. And I kind of miss it now. But now I teach yoga, which is, like, totally different.
Yeah, I was going to say, that seems like a huge swing. So what happened?
Yeah.
Like, you just, like, channel your, like, violence into, like...
I was a very violent hockey player. So I basically went from, like, I'm going to crush you in the gym. Like, so I came to BU and I was, like, weight training with the guys. I was, like, the only girl in the weight room. And I was like, this doesn't feel right anymore. So I started just doing, like, other workouts, and I got into yoga because I realized that I'd rather, like, channel my physical fitness competition into, like, self, like, healing and wellness. So I started going to yoga, and of course I was competitive at first. I was like, I can't do that. Why is everyone else, like, doing so much better? And then you realize that is not what yoga is about. It's not a talent show. It's not who's the best.
It's very much like a mindfulness activity.
It's absolutely. It's about gratitude. It's very personal. And I've been on this journey. I did my teacher training last year, and it's just like, it's been life-changing. And at this point, I just want to continue on that path because if you can do something that's great for your mind and your body at the same time, it's like we have no time in the day to do anything. So if I can do both of those things at once, it's great. Yeah. But I do get fired up when I watch the Rangers. Like, it's in there.
No, you can tell it's in there. That's for goddamn sure. Yeah. I'm terrified of angry, drunk, and/or sad Rachel.
Yeah, watch out.
No, okay. Shit. No, that's...
But also namaste. Like, you gotta have the balance.
Huh.
And I have the same
How do you
philosophy
find
with
that balance? Like, how did you make that jump from, like, violent, angry, like, fuck you, I'm gonna murder you, like, I'm out here just benching all the fucking weights, to, like, namaste, man. Like, let's have a glass of tea.
Because at this point, it's like, it's more, I don't like the word competition in relation to yoga, but it is kind of like a competition with myself. It's like, I'm not competing with other people, but I am furthering my own practice. Like, if I want to do a handstand, if I'm not practicing it every day, I'm not going to do it. I'm not just going to, like, float up into the air. And that's the aspect that I like because I still have to put in the hard work and the dedication. It's still frustrating, but it's like, as I work through the frustration, I'm, like, improving emotionally instead of just, like, bruises all over me and, like, wanting to beat someone up.
I think that's the most rewarding thing of yoga I found is like the push to do something physical in yoga is almost always mental. It's like
it's
everything I couldn't, like, I thought I couldn't do physically. If I'm able to get my mind to the right place where I believe it happens with my body, and it's like being on drugs to me. I think it's the coolest thing in the world. It's like I thought it and then it happened, and it, like, that doesn't work in real life. Like, nothing ever where I'm just like, no, this happens now. And I'm just like, no, I'm doing a handstand. Holy shit, I'm upside down. I have been for 48 seconds. Namaste.
Yeah, it's all about challenging fear. And that, like, in every part of my life, I've grown up with tons of fear and anxiety, and yoga has helped me literally stand on top of it on my hands. And, coming from a competitive sports background, thanks. Coming from a competitive sports background, it's like, it's so nice because people think of yoga, it's like, ooh, these, like, ethereal green juice drinking women. Like, no. And I'm honestly here to send that message of, like, yoga is for everybody. Like, it's for every person. It's a personal journey. And that, like, I feel like there's such a space for that today because, you know, I talk to people, it's like, oh, I can't do yoga. There's no one that can't do yoga. Yeah. Like, you can sit still and meditate. Yeah, you might suck at first, but, like, parentheses.
You may be trash. Do not go to the hot yoga session at the Boston Sports
Don't be to do fainting in hot yoga.
I will be better than you.
It's not competition,
but
if it was, you'd be losing.
It's in there.
I'm in first place. You're in last.
But no.
But no one else is.
But we're all on equal plane.
Everyone knows it, but, like, we won't say anything about it.
I'm on a higher plane mentally and spiritually. You just gotta get there, right? Come on this journey with me.
You'll never reach there, but it's good to strive for it.
But I do shave my legs. I just want to say, so my boyfriend said to me that he's like, well, I mean, he said this before he found out, but he was just like, that I shave my legs. He was like, do you, like, shave your legs and your arms? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, you're like a yoga hippie. And I was like, that doesn't mean I'm, like, a nature forest woman. Like,
yeah, I feel like yoga hippies and, like, hippies are different type.
Yeah.
Like, yoga hippies aren't really hippies at all. Yoga hippies are yuppies.
I'm not that, like, Lululemon, like, yoga mat flaunting kind of person. Yeah. I'm just like, I'm gonna, like, go, like, drink at the bar, or I'm gonna, like, go to yoga, and I'm gonna go, like, have a cookie. It's all about that balance.
So you walked away from hockey, walked to the nearest bakery, and it's all been love since.
Basically, yeah.
Love food and writing.
Love food and writing. Yeah.
What are we on time?
We're at an hour 23.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. You want to do final four?
We should.
All right. We want to go first or second?
You go first.
All right. You want to start race, politics, relationships, or pop culture?
Me and you already answered some of these questions, so I feel like...
No, we do different ones every time, though.
All right, cool.
Politics.
Politics? All right, we'll start with the easy one. First time you ever voted for, who'd you vote for, and do you remember anything particular about it or why you voted for them?
First election I voted in was in 2012. I was 20. I voted for Obama, obviously. I'm from New York.
That's not so obvious.
That's true.
Horrible.
I mean, I'm from the West Side.
Romney's actually looking really good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. By comparison.
Yeah, that's true. I voted in the high school that's attached to my apartment building, and
The high school attached to your apartment building?
yeah.
That's some New York shit.
It is. I'm not super connected to politics, but I have always, like, I've been so excited to be able to represent, like, being a Democrat in New York and just being, like, free and whoever you want to be.
That's fair.
So.
We were talking about moving and, like, being able to, like, be free in who you are.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I fear most about moving, being from here, is, like, there's only, like, 5 places politically that are even safe to be me in, like, this climate. You know what I mean? It's, like, here, New York, California, Washington State. That's about it. Illinois, maybe?
There's
Minnesota.
Pockets. I feel like there's pockets.
There's
like,
a handful.
Like, you can, like, if you're talking about, like, Austin, Texas, very liberal city.
But that's what I mean, yeah. It's you can find cities, but, like, full states, not really.
Yeah, nah.
Race relationships or pop culture?
Am I asking her or am I answering?
You're asking.
Okay.
So we do 4 questions at the end of every guest.
We haven't had a guest in a long time. You know my memory.
I try to start traditions on this fucking
It's okay.
podcast.
I'm ready.
Right.
Even I know this.
What do you want?
Pop culture.
Pop culture. All right. What is the first? All right. What is you stuck in the island? What's the top 3 albums that you have to bring in this island with you?
Ooh. Millennium by the Backstreet Boys.
Oh my god.
Don't act like you wouldn't bring it too.
3 albums for the rest of my life. Actually, you know what? That's actually not a bad pick because, like, it's built to be repetitively listened to.
Yeah.
So, like, good music could drive you crazy if you listen to it too much.
No.
Pop music is meant to be played over and over again. Not my choice, but
I hung myself from one of the trees.
That's
Man.
All right, we go.
That's tough. I'm a big country fan, and I love Keith Urban. I can't one of his albums. I'm not sure which one, but definitely one of his albums. I've always loved him. And then Little Mix's most recent album.
Little Mix?
I love them.
So Little Mix, Backstreet Boys, and Keith Urban.
That basically
you are the
sums
whitest
me
person I know. I mean, hey man, all right. Hey, we are an all-inclusive, positive podcast here, so I will not shame anyone for their life choices. But those are not the choices I would make.
Where would you go, real quick?
Oh shit! 3 albums forever.
3 albums forever.
Streetlight Manifesto's first album, probably. That was a great album. I forget the name of it. Not Keys Be Night's the one that preceded that.
See, it's not easy.
I might get killed for this, but honestly, From Under the Cork Tree by Fall Out Boy probably on there. I fucking love that album, front to back. I know every word. And then I gotta get something with like some bang to it, but I'd have to like. I'm trying to think of like a good like double album you could bring to like fill in like.
Mine would be like Life After Death.
See, this is my thing. Like, I need something that had like a lot of different vibes though, like hip hop vibes. That was gonna be my only hip hop album I brought. I think I'd probably go, and this is again probably not a popular pick, but something I could listen to over and over again that had a wide range. I think "Beg for Mercy" from G Unit.
Yeah,
I think I would take that album like for like that's some staying power in my rotation for like years of my adolescent self. You?
I do Life After Death.
All right.
Maybe like a Tupac's greatest hit.
Yeah, that was my thought was that, but I feel like that's
and then like a Bob Marley greatest hit. Try not to blow my brains out on this island.
Here's what I find curious about that though. All of the music that we selected is all music that is very like, I guess, critical of like society. If you're on like an island alone, I wouldn't want to be hearing about like a society I've become detached from for like a decade. It's problems.
I think it's like it's nostalgic.
Yeah.
No, so
I remember when I had human interaction.
Yeah. I remember when I wasn't fucking this pineapple.
It's so spiky but so juicy. All right. Relationships or race?
Who's asking me the question?
This guy.
Relationships.
I don't know. I feel like that. What? Is that you?
No.
Oh, so, no, I was just like, oh, what's this? How old were you when you had your first boyfriend and/or girlfriend? And do you remember like who it was and how that happened?
My first boyfriend I had for like 2 weeks, and I was 11 years old. I think his name... Oh, that's embarrassing. I think it was TJ. I also dated TJ in college. But he, like, kissed me on the cheek in front of science class, and it was like, oh my God.
No, I mean, that's big news at 11.
That is.
Yeah.
I kissed a girl in elementary school, and it was all the hubbub between the parents. I was in all
Oh,
sorts of
man.
shit. Then I bought her a ring for Valentine's Day, actually. I bought her a ring because we had been dating for 2 weeks, and so I was like, duh. It was adorable. It was a little silver heart, and it opened up into best friends inside. And I gave it to her, and she threw it back at me and ran out of the room crying. And
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's
For some reason, you stayed romantic.
right? I've been vying for acceptance ever since.
I would say she was on her period, but it seems like she's a little too young for that.
Probably. It was the first one.
Women have crushed my romantic instinct already. I just gave it up.
That's why I love my current girlfriend. Her romance is pancakes. This is my bed. Last one's race. Your call.
All right. It's the last one, so she just had... I just asked a question. Oh, yeah. All right, cool. All right.
You are horrible at this.
I am. I'm really good at stand-up comedy, though.
This is true.
I'm really good on stage when it's just me.
From now on, we're broadcasting from a stage.
So, race. All right. You've dated people from other races, right?
Correct.
All right. Have you brought them home?
Yeah.
And who was, between your family, who was the one that you were most nervous about introducing?
Good question.
I think you're like all excited for this answer. It's just not like no one was nervous.
No one?
I grew up in
maybe like a grandma that was like,
That switched up. All right.
I'm going to tell you the funniest thing, because it's just so perfect for this moment, that my mom has said to me since I am little. Mm-hmm. I love my dad, and so does she, but she has always, always wished that she had married a black man so I would have rhythm. Mm-hmm. And she tells everyone.
Yeah. You don't have rhythm? Is that her, like, that's like...
All cheeks, no rhythm, bro.
That's a low blow.
I think I have rhythm.
The mom does it.
My mom...
If you're, like, how old is your mom? I want to slide you.
How old is she?
You don't have to, like...
56.
Okay, so if a white woman in her 50s tells you don't have rhythm, you don't have rhythm.
Like, her mistake was like, God, if I would just slept with Jamal, I wouldn't have to watch my daughter embarrass her family.
Because my
Do you
mom
know how much his apartment in Brooklyn would be worth by now?
No, but going back to the actual question, no one's ever been nervous. Like, I grew up in a place where it was just like, I don't know.
They're just happy you had a boyfriend.
Yeah, to be honest.
Did you ever date girls? Did you ever bring a girl home?
No.
No, I'm always curious.
You can be curious? No.
All right. So your family's just like perfect. You just show black people.
There's an uncle.
That's awesome.
There's always an uncle in the back. Like,
no, seriously.
Everyone's got an uncle. Everyone's got that one uncle.
I'm from New England. I don't know what an uncle is.
There's certain words that I just butcher in that. Yeah.
It was a good question.
All right, cool. Well, hey.
Sorry, I didn't have a fun answer.
Anything else you want to add on this episode? I feel like we're at like an hour 40.
No, we're at an hour 33.
Yeah.
But no, we wasted enough of these people's time.
Did you have a good time?
I had a great time. I'm still having a good time.
Is there anything you want to plug for our listeners, where they can find your writing?
Yeah, by the way, you guys should do for your blog and shit, you guys should do video stuff too.
I've wanted to get into videos. That's the next...
Do it.
That's the next step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
I need
you
to see
don't
next
get
to the
fired for
hands.
being on our video, then you should definitely get them to do videos.
I want to start doing yoga videos too. So if anyone wants private yoga teaching, you can email me.
This just sounds dirty. I thought you were going to say private yoga videos.
People like you. It's people like you.
That's probably true.
Rachel DeSimone7@gmail.com. You can also follow me on Instagram. There's lots of desserts.
There really are a lot of desserts.
Rachel.DeSimone.
You can just look at her Instagram.
Yeah, basically. Rachel.DeSimone, and then I write for Bites of Boston Food Tours, and The Cake They Didn't Eat is my personal website.
The Cake They Didn't Eat is dope. You should definitely check that out. Also, for everybody listening at home, DeSimone with the D-E, not the D-I, for y'all who aren't as familiar with the Italian. We'll be plugging all the shit all week anyway, so if you catch our episode anywhere throughout the week, definitely make sure you check out the blog, make sure you check out the tour, and make sure you keep an eye out for the future. Right. Chris, you got shit you plugging? You actually remember dates for a change?
Yeah, I do. I am at...
It's crazy to be the anchor of this podcast. I have absolutely nothing to plug ever for myself. I'm just I just show up and talk to people. Y'all niggas plug your famous shit.
Shit, I forgot where my show is this Saturday. Oh. Yeah, I will just plug. Just follow us on Facebook. I'll put the shows that I'm on. I'm really bad at
my cause is terrible. Follow us on social media. It's at _Late2Work on Twitter, Late2WorkPodcast@gmail.com. Any of your questions, comments, bookings. If you think you're important and fabulous and deserve to be on our podcast, drop us an email. We'll decide whether or not you're worth talking to. I'm just kidding. I'm not that judgy. You can find us everywhere else on the internet, just at Late2Work, SoundCloud, iTunes, Sticher, soon to be Spotify, and a lot of other places, wherever you like to get your podcast. And we'll see y'all next week. Don't be a dickhead.
Don't be a dick. Peace.
Why you make it so complicated?
Why you make it so complicated?
Off the drink we concentrate.
Off the drink we concentrate.
I know you won't leave me hanging.
I know.
Smoking weed out the container.
We smoke.
We spend cash for entertainment. There's more where that came from, that song.